It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. Almost 10 o'clock p.m. on the West Coast. Most of the time that I rebuild is try to do it at night if I can, so I don't have any distractions. But we got the unit all done, this 46RH, from tear down to rebuild. That's pretty much what we're looking at here. Got all the parts installed from the Transgo kit, all the ones that were necessary for this unit. These Transgo kits come kind of universal. They'll be for older vehicles all the way up to new vehicles, so they'll have different options that you can put springs in, and also how you want to have shift feel, and and if it's going to be a towing application, heavy duty application, performance application. So these kits, they pretty much cover all of those. Here you go. Also cars, taxis, heavy duty. So it depends on what the customer wants. That's what we put on, put in these transmissions. And all the seals that we need. These kits, they come kind of universal too. They span a lot of years. So for manufacturers not to waste any money, they'll have a kit that'll have a bunch of seals in it, and it'll be for all the years covered, just so they don't have to have 16 different kits for different years and all that. So it's cheaper just to throw them all into one. But anyway, we've got her all together here. We're going to get ready to install her here probably in the morning. I was going to try to maybe do it tonight, but I'm just going to do it in the morning. The only thing I have to install on it yet is the cover for the torque converter. So once the torque converter is bolted in, I'll be able to put that cover on. And speaking of torque converters, let's take a look at the torque converter we're going to install. And I'll kind of go over this a little bit here. We got two torque converters here. This one here on the left is not a Dodge torque converter. It's actually a GM torque converter, but it's very similar to the one that you saw on the bench that was the purple color a couple of videos ago as a factory converter. Somebody just painted it purple. And there's three type of converters you can put in this unit. You can put the factory converter back in, and that is a good converter. It came with the vehicle originally from the factory. It lasts as long as it did. Or you can upgrade to, as you can see next to it, a billet style converter. And you can see the height difference here. Very similar. Like I said, this one's not a Dodge, but it's very close to how high it is compared to what this is. And what I want to really point out is this billet cover. This big, huge, massive cover. The thing with torque converters, the biggest thing is with failure on them is heat. They have all the fluid in there moving around. There's a lot of heat being built up in there. They'll burn out a lot quicker than anything. All that heat's getting transferred in transmission. Finally, it gets pumped out to your cooler, gets cooled down, comes back in the transmission, go back in the converter. So you have an issue with heat there. Well, what this billet cover does is help to reduce a lot of that heat. Also, it's really, really heavy duty in here, big heavy duty clutch. So billet is an actual name, a product name for this style of converter. Now, this one is supplied by my local transmission supply company. They build these specifically. And so, like I said, there's three of them. You have the factory converter, you have the billet single clutch converter, and that's what this one is a single clutch converter. And then you have a billet triple clutch converter. Now, those triple clutch ones are really, really expensive. I mean, they can range anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 for one of them converters. And most of the time I see that application in racing, major heavy duty hauling. There's different applications you need for wanting that converter. This particular vehicle it's not really required to have that. We are upgrading from just a standard converter to this style here. I install these all the time on all my builds as far as the diesels go. And they just run really nice. I've never been let down on them. They really handle the heat really well. They really work really well. But it's an expensive converter too. They can run anywhere from $800 to $1,000, depending on where you buy them and what quality you have. But that's the converter going into this unit on top of everything else, and then we'll take it for a great test drive, and we'll get her broke in a little bit. There is some adjustments that have to be done with the kickdown cable, and there may be some adjustments done with the band. We'll see how hard it kicks as it shifts, with all this stuff getting in there. And then there is a process of about 200 miles or so that I'd like to see these as they break in, and then maybe even get them back at 500, check everything out, check the fluid, check the adjustments, see if anything is out of whack, go back in, So it is a process on doing these type of builds compared to just doing a regular factory build where everything is just general and you don't have any different variables with all the different options that you put in the transmission. But all right, so this is the finished product, and we'll get her installed tomorrow and we'll see how she rolls. Catch you later.